guys, Zeta here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your very own FaceCam border in Photoshop CS6. Now, if you don't have Photoshop CS6, you could always use it in older or newer versions. It works the exact same way. Now, before we get into this video, I would like to ask if you enjoy tutorials like this, please leave a like on this video because it shows me that you enjoy it. If you have any ideas on what I should do in the future for this channel, either YouTube tips, tutorials, or any other video ideas, please leave them down in the comment section below, and you'll be sure I'll do a video on it. Now with that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, so before we create our FaceCam overlay, we're going to have to create the transparent background first. So we're going to go up to File, click New, and set the width to 1920, and the height to 1080, and the resolution to 300. Make sure that your background contents are transparent. If it says white or background color, that is not what you're going to want to have because it's not going to turn out transparent. So we're going to click on OK, and you're going to get up to this screen. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I could see. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to click on the rectangle tool. So before we create our rectangle, we're going to set the fill to nothing. So you're gonna have it as the white box with the red line through it. Make sure it has that. The stroke to any color. I like to have it as a little bit of a dark gray, not completely black, because it makes it look a little bit more smooth and metallic. So you could set the stroke point to either 3 or 5, but we're going to adjust that later. So we have to create the rectangle first. So the width and the height have to be the same thing as we created as our canvas. So it's going to be 1920 as the width, and the height is going to be 1080. So there we go, we now have our rectangle. Now it's really big, and that's not where we want our face cam. So we're going to hold Command T, and it's going to come up with this transform tool. Now you're going to hold down Shift and drag a corner. And you're going to drag it to however you want your face cam to look like. So let's just drag it over to here. That looks like a good place to have it. Click the check mark, and you could change the stroke if you want to as well. So now that we have our border, we're going to add some effects to it before we add the text. So you could either right click and click on blending options, or you could double click in the void area next to the name, and it's going to pull up this layer style box. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the drop shadow first, and then we're going to add color. So when you click on the drop shadow tab, make sure it's clicked as the check mark. You're going to put the opacity all the way up to 100%, drag the distance down to 0, add the spread to around 40%, and then the size to around 30. Now you're going to click OK, and that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to double click on the rectangle layer again, and we're going to add color to it. So you could obviously do the color overlay, and you could lower the opacity, all that stuff, but we're going to add gradient. Now when you click on gradients, there are all these preset gradients that look really good, like this one or the other ones, and you could change the stops as well to make it whatever color that you want. You could also go to here, and it shows all of your personal gradients that you chose. But for now, we're just going to choose this gradient right here. We're going to click on the stop. We're going to change it to this type of blue. It looks really good. And we're going to click on OK. If you don't want the blue to be down, you could click on reverse, and it's going to flip it up. If you don't like that color of blue, and you want it to blend in a little bit better, you could lower the opacity and make it a little bit darker. I like that color, so we're going to click on OK. Now we're going to click this new layer tab, which is right here. It looks like a piece of paper with a folded corner. You're going to click on that, and we're going to click on the text tool, and we're going to type in our name. So my name is Zeta. We're going to make sure that the font color is white. It's okay if you can't see it because we're going to change it later. You're going to click on Command and T, which brings up the transform tool. Hold Shift, drag a corner to make it smaller, and align it up with your face cam. So that looks good. I'm going to click on the check mark, and we're going to add some blending options as well. So we're going to double click on this, and we're going to add a drop shadow again. So we're going to raise the opacity, lower the distance all the way, add the spread to around 40, and then add the size to the same as before. Now we're going to also add a stroke, so it looks a little bit different and it pops out. So we're going to drag it up to around 5 or 6, that looks good. And we're going to add a gradient overlay. Now this one looks good, we're just going to lower the opacity so it gets that metallic type of feel. And there we go, you have your FaceCam border. Now if you want to resize it and you don't want to resize both at the same time, you could click on one of them, hold command and click on the other one, and then do command T, which is the transform tool, and drag it to whatever you want. I like it the way that it was, so I'm just going to click the X. So now we have our FaceCam border, and we have the final step, which is saving it. Now all you have to do is click on File, Save, and then go to wherever you want it to be saved. I saved mine to Photoshop. I could save it to banner templates, and you're going to save it as FaceCam.png. Make sure it's a PNG, which will save it as transparent. You click on Save, click on OK, and it's going to save. And once it's saved, it's going to, what you can do is you can place it on top of your video. Make sure that your FaceCam is placed first, and then you place it on this overlay. And there you go, you have your very own FaceCam border. It looks very professional. So yeah, that wraps it up for this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean the world to me if you dropped a like on it. And if you want to see more tutorials like this, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any tutorials that you would want to see me do, either with Final Cut, iMovie, or any other Mac softwares, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!